Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan and today's video is all about my flawless foundation routine. I'm going to be showing you guys how I get my skin looking like this, giving you guys some tips and tricks along the way that I like to use. If you guys like videos like this, definitely give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any questions or comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see a little bit more of me. And don't forget to click that bell button while you're at it to be notified when I upload. And yeah, let's just get right into this video. All products and shades will be in the description box below, but I'm just starting off with this Bobbi Brown primer and just rubbing it into my skin. So I'm just gonna leave that on my face for a second just to let it tap in. But I think I've said this in a video before, a key to having your foundation and base look perfect is to have a good skincare routine and a good base already. So obviously my face is already moisturized. If you want to see my full morning and nighttime routine, it's up on my channel. I'm going to be using two things for foundation today. Obviously this isn't mandatory, but this is just what I've been doing lately. I've been mixing my Fenty foundation with my Fenty skin tint, and it's just literally perfect for my skin. So I do like 1.5 pumps of the foundation and then some of the skin tint. That was kind of a lot. And I'm gonna mix it up on my hand, and then I'm kind of just gonna start dotting all of my foundation around my face. And the key here is I like to put all of my foundation mainly in the center of my face, and then I'm going to blend it outward. So I'm not really worrying about getting all kinds of coverage around all the edges of my face, but more so just getting the center parts. If I have a specific spot that I want to make sure has a lot of coverage, I'll do a little dot there. But I always focus my foundation in the center of my face first and then blend out so it gives a more natural effect. And of course, you always want to be blending down to the neck, especially if your foundation is not a perfect color match. Mine is a little bit dark for me, so we're just being mindful of that. And I'm just literally tapping in my foundation. I'm not doing in circles or buffing it in. That kind of makes it a little bit harder to build up coverage in my opinion. So I literally just tap everything in with my foundation brush or a beauty blender, whatever suits you. And yeah, I literally just like pounce it in and then blend it outwards. The key to having a flawless base without it looking cakey, especially if you are someone who deals with acne or hyperpigmentation or just want to cover up certain things on their skin, this is what I do. So I pump the foundation onto my hand, and then I'm going to take this foundation and literally pretty much spot conceal. So anywhere that I feel like I need more coverage, like here, I will just tap in some more product. And pretty much what this is going to do is it's just going to allow you to avoid putting a whole nother layer of foundation on your face when you really only need it in specific areas. So this is just going to help with keeping your foundation light. You don't really need to put too much on. And yeah, I'm also just gonna put a little bit on my lid just because I feel like I could just do that. And then I'm going to just tap it in very, very lightly. And the amazing thing is, you know, you don't really need to worry about it blending in because it's all the same color. It's not like you're using a concealer that's a slightly different shade. So that's why I like to use my foundation rather than my concealer to cover up certain things, just because I don't need to worry about it looking weird or being a different color or oxidizing or anything like that. So sometimes I'll take my little concealer brush, or you can just use your finger, whatever. You can use your beauty blender still, but I'm really lightly just blending that out and like building up the coverage on any areas that I feel like I need it. And sometimes I'll blend it out and I'll have to take a little bit more and just add a little bit more onto there. But I'm being very light-handed in the way that I blend it out because I don't want to get rid of that coverage. And I more so say that specifically if you are using a beauty blender, because it is a sponge, sometimes it will absorb the product. It's just inevitable, you are using a sponge. It's not that brushes don't do the same thing, but I just find that they definitely don't absorb my product like a beauty blender does. So that's why I have been into brushes lately, but obviously to each their own once again. Whatever works for you works for you, but I literally just do this until I'm happy with it. I also have this little spot on my neck. I don't really know what happened there, but we're gonna cover that baby up. So literally just tapping, and sometimes you can literally just blend out like the sides of that little spot. You don't even really need to go like directly on the pimple and like tap in the product. I also just make sure to blend my foundation a little bit onto my ears and stuff, just so everything is nice and blended. I think the other big thing about a flawless base is actually taking your time on your foundation. Like, this step is probably the longest step, besides if I was to do like an eye look or something. Obviously that would take way longer than my foundation, but my foundation, like, I sit here and I tap it in for a good like over 5 minutes. I also do this weird little trick where I'll literally like give myself a double chin and make sure that all of my foundation has blended onto my neck, especially the jawline area, because sometimes we can forget about it. So once I'm happy with this, I'm going to go in with my contour first before my concealer and highlighter type action. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do just go in with concealer right away, but when I'm really trying to get like a flawless base, I do this just because you're able to then go in with your concealer and you can really carve out your contour and fix it up and make sure it's looking all nice and clean. So I'm going to be using this cream bronzer by Fenty. I love this stuff. And normally I just use like a concealer brush to put it on, and I just kind of like tap it on to my cheeks. So the other thing that I like to do, you can see how my cheekbone where I normally bronze would kind of start here. I go just above that, and this is just gonna really lift my cheekbones as well. So that's also what I like to do. And I'm just like kind of tapping it in the general area. Personally, this stuff blends out so easily. It really doesn't dry down. Like, I don't have to worry about putting this on and blending it quickly. So that's why I'm just kind of taking my time here. But I am going to just put it in these places, and then I'm going to blend it out and keep going. But I don't put too much on my forehead, just a bit to, you know, just bring some shadows back. And then I'm going to go right here on my jawline and put that all over. And normally I start with my jawline, and this is really the only area that I really like put my brush in circles, because I feel like it just blends out the best when I do that motion. Again, just making sure that everything is blending out really nicely, and this stuff blends out like a dream, so we love that. For my contour, the way I blend it out is I literally just tap in very, very small circular motions, really only tapping my brush here. I don't bring it too far into my cheeks. I don't bring it too far up here, because we already have more product here, and once I blend this out, it'll kind of like blend into this. Hopefully that makes sense. You guys will see once I start to do it, but I'm just tapping in this very, very lightly, just so that I don't disrupt any of my foundation or work that I've already done. And sometimes I'll go in with a little bit more. I'm gonna use a little bit more on this side, and I literally just focus it again right kind of on the outer part, and I just blend it out. The next place that I like to contour is my brow bone. I like to just do this. It kind of just slims in your nose a little bit, and again just brings those shadows back. I'll even kind of like put the bronzer like literally in my crease. And then the next thing I do is I do a little bit of a nose contour. Nothing too special. I literally just put it here and a little bit on the sides, but nothing too crazy. This is also the reason why I love little brushes like this. This is the Morphe M173 brush, and it's just so good. Like, I love to use it for my nose contour especially. This is also why I like to do my brows last, so that I'm really able to like put my contour into my brow, whereas if I already had product there, then it would be a lot harder to do this. And then I just lightly blend down the sides, and I just blend out the bottom. And again, like I said, this thing blends so easily, so I really don't even need to do that much work. The majority of the work occurs when I'm focusing on where I'm placing the product, but blending wise, I don't even need to do much. Sometimes I like to put a little bit of contour under my lips and in my Cupid's bow area, just again to bring back that shadow. It just adds a little bit of like plumpness to my look and to my lips. You know what I mean? As I've said on my channel before, I do love cream products. They are my favorite to use. I just feel like when you do your face with pretty much like all cream products, it just gives your skin such a skin-like natural finish, very glowy. This is also why I love this hydrating foundation, because it's just so glowy and like I just love the finish of it. And that's why I love to mix it with my skin tint. But that's just why I love cream products. Like, obviously, I'm not trying to say you need these specific products to get a flawless base, but it's definitely a good thing to look into if you've never tried cream products, because I personally love them, and I find the longevity of my makeup is completely changed when I put on cream products first, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I still set with powders. Like, I'm still gonna go in with a powder bronzer, but the cream just makes everything last so much longer. Like, it's crazy. So cream products are literally my besties. But yeah, before we go in with cream blush, I am going to just do my under eyes. The most important placement for me is right on this inner corner, because I have a lot of like bluey tones in my under eye, so I always make sure to go right in that inner corner. And I just do a little bit here and a little bit on the outer corner. I like to do a little bit around my nose, anywhere that you have redness or just want to brighten. And because the shade isn't too light, I'm just going to go in with this concealer just because it is much lighter. This is in the shade Swan. And I just add it a little bit to this under eye moment, put a little bit on my chin, and I will do a little bit on my forehead. This is the time that you could carve out your contour if you wanted. Even though we are doing a flawless base, I'm gonna be honest, I never really do that. So just me, but I just don't. I haven't really been into it lately. I just kind of think it's pointless. So that's just me. I don't really normally do that. I normally just carve it out with my translucent powder, which doesn't really do that much because it is a translucent. It doesn't really have too much color to it, nor should it, because it, again, is translucent. But I'm just blending this out. Anywhere that you just want to brighten. Sometimes I like to put it down the nose a bit, but again, personally, I don't really do that much. Anyways, I have been blending my concealer out with my finger lately because my under eyes easily crease, and I just find that blending my concealer out with my finger under my under eyes literally blends it out like a dream. I don't really get that much creasing. My under eyes don't get dry or anything like that. I just like it a lot more. The other thing that I do is with this inner corner concealer, I bring it down my nose a bit, like down the sides of my nose, so it kind of further contours my nose. So I kind of like just bring it down the bridge of my nose and then blend it into the rest of the concealer. And of course, I'm using my ring finger. It's the lightest touch. I'm always being very, very careful on my under eye because this skin is very, very delicate. So again, things to be mindful of. And sometimes I'll just go on my lid with any leftover that's on my finger just to brighten it all up. And I always just go back in with my foundation brush and again just kind of like blend everything out and just making sure that everything is just looking seamless and bomb as fuck, to be honest. I'm just gonna take off the concealer on my lips just because I want to. Sometimes I keep it on, sometimes I don't, but today I'm just gonna wipe it off a bit. Now it's on to blush time. I'm going to be using this Fenty cream blush. I might as well call this literally like Fenty foundation routine because I think majority of the products I've used so far are Fenty. I'm not complaining, their shit is bomb. So I just take a clean finger, so I'm probably gonna use my middle finger right now. And I just tap it into this product. And again, I'm gonna kind of put it on the outer part of my cheekbone. Again, wherever you want to blush up your face is where you can put it. I like to put it there just so it continues to lift my face, and I feel like it just blends out really nicely into my bronzer and all of that. So that's what I like to do. But I just take some on my finger, and I'll normally put it on both sides. And then I'll roughly start to blend it out with my finger at first. And then I'll go in with my brush afterward. But pretty much just tapping it into that bronzer contour area and kind of into my cheek a bit. I'm just gonna add a little bit more because I feel like it. I like to just take a little bit on the bridge of my nose just so I get that very sun-kissed look. I'll do a little bit on the tip of my nose too, wherever the sun naturally hits my skin. Going back in with this foundation brush, I haven't even told you guys what brush this is, but this is the Morphe 439 brush. I'm obsessed with it, if you couldn't tell. I just tap over it a bit. There's nothing really crazy that I have to do since it's already pretty blended. So last step before we do any powders is highlighter. This highlighter, you guys, if you need a good highlighter that will literally last you forever, get this Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. They are amazing. This is in the shade Celestial. It is amazing, and you literally do not need a lot of this product. Majority of the time, what I do is I literally put the dropper like that, and I will take some on my finger, and then I just tap it on where I want to highlight. Roughly, I'm just going to put it on at first. Just do a really small dot on my nose. A little bit here as well, under my under eye and above my brow. And then I'm just going to start to blend it out, again, tapping very lightly. So I kind of do like little circular motions, like tapping but in circular motions. And I'll even like bring it down a bit just so then my bronzer, my blush, and my highlighter is all very seamless and blended together. If you have acne on your cheeks or in an area where you normally put highlighter, do not put highlighter on that spot, because with the highlighter, it's just going to enhance any roundness or any texture that you have. So being strategic at where you're putting highlighter is very important, especially if you have acne and you're trying to cover it up. On the tip of my nose, I don't do any circular motions or blend it out. Like, where I place it is where I tap it in. And now it's time to set everything. So the first thing that I go in with is my all-around face powder. I'm just going to use my big fluffy powder brush. I'm not really using too much. I know I'm like going in on this product, but I've hit pan for a while now, so there's not really too much left in here. Always tapping off the excess, and I always like to start in my contour area and kind of blend down to my neck. And I just tap it in. I'm not gonna lie, this base right now is looking pretty fucking good. I'm just going to take the tiniest bit of bronzer on my brush. You can probably see it there. And I hold my brush pretty far down when I do my bronzer just so I have a lighter touch, because if I'm holding my brush this close to the bristles, it's much easier to be very harsh. So that's why I kind of hold it a little bit farther away. And I'll literally start circling my brush and like land it into my face. I want this to look very, very blended and just seamless. So I'm not using too much because we already have a good base with that cream product. I'm really just using this to just set. Everywhere that I put that contour before is where I'm just going to bronze up. I'll put a little bit on my lid as well, just anything that's left over. And I'll tap just a little bit again into my brush, and I'll just go over my nose. So the next thing I'm going to set is everywhere that I brightened. This under eye stuff, this Bye Bye Pores It Cosmetics. I know I've talked about this product before on my channel, but it changed my life. The thing to make sure before you set your face is to make sure that all of the creases are gone. So I'm always very mindful of that, especially with my under eyes. But I just really lightly tap into this, always tapping off the excess look how much excess there is. It's a very loose, fine powder. So I'm just gonna put some powder on my forehead, my nose, especially the bridge of it, the under eye here, on my chin, a little bit here, and that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. So my base is pretty much done. The last thing that I do is highlighter, but typically I just use that liquid highlighter. Sometimes I will put on a little bit more. For the sake of this video, I am going to put on some right now. I'm going to be using this Artist Couture highlighter. This is beautiful and blinding. This is in the shade Coco Bling, and it is their Diamond Glow Powder. Before I do this, I am just going to spray my face. I'm just going to use my setting spray. This is another thing that I think everybody should have. In my opinion, setting spray does the job. Like setting spray, primer, I'm always gonna choose a setting spray. I know I used both today, but I live by these, I believe in these, and they honestly just keep my makeup on all day. And not only that, but once you spray them on, they really just allow any powders or anything to just really blend into the skin. And I always just like to fan it in a bit. Okay, so once that is kind of setting into my skin, I will normally take this brush that I did my setting with on my under eyes and everything, and I will just go back in, because I do love the finish that this setting spray gives me, but I love for this area to be like very, very matte. Now what I like to do is my highlighter. This brush is amazing for highlighting. It is a dupe for the Anastasia highlighter brush, and honestly, I think it's even better. It is the Morphe 510 brush, and if you need a good highlighting brush, I recommend one of these. But I'm just gonna add a little bit of this highlighter. I'm literally not even like actually tapping into the highlighter. I'm using the cap of it. So if that doesn't tell you like how amazing this highlighter is, and like just how finely milled it is. Like, I love it. I love it. Like, oh my god. I love it. I love glowing. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, I get too hyped for this stuff. And then I literally just take my finger and I'll do the tip of my nose. This highlighter. Like, if I went all the way over there right now, you could definitely see it. Like, so this is my finished base. I'm going to go and finish up the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back with my finished look. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished makeup look. I just went for a very soft, natural glam today. But thank you guys for watching this video and coming along with me. If you guys made it through the whole video, comment down below. I hope that you guys learned something and you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any questions or comments. And definitely hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more. And yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.